Good morning or good afternoon, good night, whatever. Um, we'll just be doing a quick recap. Sorry that I didn't do live. So we were first scheduled to do it live for today, but like 15, 20 minutes after the market close, I had kind of like an emergency, but not really. Like kind of, yeah, it was an emergency actually. My friend's tire popped on the freeway, so I had to leave. And I thought I'd come back by 4, so it wasn't too late to do it, but I came back at 6 p.m. So I was like, I'm just gonna record it and send it, and we'll do like today's session live to make up for it. So good day so far. Um, I'll go over the quick trade that we took in the morning on the live, um, and then we could go into over how we could have played the day and why I had certain levels where they're at. So we were really close to taking this long right here, just because I was like, hey, it's kind of struggling right here. You guys know how I don't like to short these moves or buy these super sharp knives. So I saw it slowing down here with all these wicks. I was like, hey, 83 to 85 looks like decent risk with very small very small risk with like at least 2 to 3 times the reward. So I'm risking potentially 5 to 10 points, and the minimum I'm getting is around 15 to 20 points, potentially way more, right, as we saw. But we didn't take it. I was going to, but I don't know what happened. I didn't take it. Anyways, moving on to the next trade. I was looking for a short at the time, because the indices and some tech stocks were struggling. So we took this short. First short was at 38.39, I believe. It was right here. So we got our first entry, somewhere here, and we were in drawdown for a couple points. And then, but as I mentioned, that I'm only going in half, and I want to scale in my other half in at 45. My other half I scaled in right here, literally right before this drop, and this pop right here. I was looking for this pop, so it's still some liquidity. So it dropped a little bit. We were like a tiny bit in profit, like 5-6 points in profit. That's when I knew volatility started kicking in, as you could tell in the volume as well. And then it grabbed those highs right above these, right above these 45. It grabbed these highs, and this is when I entered short with a stop at 50. So my stop was right here, literally right here, and it dropped 20 points the second we entered in our full position. And as you could tell here, so if you're looking at my time, this is 7:20, 7:19. If you look at ES here, because some of you guys asked how I compare ES to NQ. So you see here how ES is kind of struggling around this 89 area to 90 area, right? It's not really breaking any higher. It's not strong. There's none of these candles. So it's just struggling here with a bunch of upper wicks. It moved a little bit higher, but it's still struggling, right? It's not really moving higher. I know Nasdaq is struggling to move higher. So I have divergence between the ES and the NQ, both pointing to the same direction. Usually I want to avoid trades that where ES is super bullish and NQ is bearish. I'll try to avoid that, just because I don't want to be on the wrong side. But when both are pointing in the same direction, that's usually a good sign, right? So ES struggling, NQ's resistance at 45. We short it. We get out most of our position at 20, and then we had a trailing stop in profit at 34, 35, right at this candle, so we don't lose money. So we're always in profit regardless, no matter what happened. We basically exited our first half for 3 quarters here, and then we got stopped out the rest in profit somewhere around here. And then later in the day, I wasn't alerting or anything, but lots of us took it, which was the longs at 20. So later in the day, what is going on? So we start to see, at first I couldn't really tell whether we were going to move higher or lower, just because I thought this consolidation, we could move higher, we could break lower, anything could happen, right? And then I realized that, hey, we're probably going to be stuck in a range for the rest of the day, because I see this beautiful range forming. Resistance at 870. Oh, I also forgot to mention, but as most of you guys know, we were starting to get extremely bearish around this 870 mark, and let me show you why. So this was a curl. I need to disable after hours. 1 second. So I was mentioning the curl, right? And lots of us started seeing the curls. So the curls right here, and one of our good friends, Howarth, was like, when do you short? Do you short here or do you short here? I was like, so I answered, I was like, we first start to notice the curl around here, and then we short somewhere here with a stop at the highs, right? And then the same thing happened as well right here. So first of all, the 20 support. We have this zone right here, same here. So this was a good area to buy. Then we have the 70. So same area from here, and you could kind of start to see the curl. So the curl just goes like this. It gets slower, and then it stalls some high, and then it comes back down. Right? Imagine you're drawing a full circle. It's super aggressive at the top, slows down. You can kind of see how it's like becoming a full circle. And yeah, and like today was fairly simple for the most part, other than the first like 2 hours where it wasn't extremely clear whether we were gonna go higher or lower. Um, yeah, it was a pretty simple day, honestly. You had just the basic support at 20, and then the resistance at 65 to 75, and then under the 20s is where it just dumped completely, and then it came back down. I came try to bounce back up, and it couldn't hold it. It came right back down, and then it flushed like 100 points after hours. I'm trying to think. Oh, let's compare ES. So ES is the same thing, right? We had this 86 support we were talking about. Man, my thinker stream is super laggy today. Oh, I see why. So we had this 86 support. So for most of you guys that are newer, not most of you guys, for the people that are newer, a support or a supply demand, whatever, however you want to call it, right? Is an area where there's buyers interested or sellers are they don't want to sell there, right? So this 86 area has been getting bought up the whole day, and this is where I buy again for 86 with a stop somewhere under this wick right here. So a stop under 84, I'll buy 86. You just put a limit order in. But I initially had limit orders in at 86, so 86.75, 86 quarter, and then 86 flat. Just because if it didn't go down to 86, I still wanted to be in the trade, right? I didn't want to miss the trade by 1 tick, 2 ticks, whatever. And yeah, so we have the same resistance right here. It's 97. You see how I was just rejecting the whole day. So any short could have been taken here with a stop a little bit higher, and then 86 support. You could have bought it with an 84 stop anywhere lower. It obviously looks simple now. Now that the market is over, but we kind of picked it up that there's super strong support at 86 and on the 20s and Q somewhere around this area. So not here. Here it looked decent, but I didn't at least for sure know whether it was going to go higher or lower. Here I could kind of start telling, hey, we might be stuck in a range. And then here is when I started buying pretty aggressively, because at that point I'm like, hey, we're this late into the day. There's an hour or 2 hours left. We're probably going to range. I did want to recap the trade I took earlier just one more time. It was at 720, so it was right here. So on the 5 minute it looks weird because this candle is bullish, but the candle opened here basically. We took it down all the way to down here, somewhere here, and then it just flew back up. All right, so this is because we were trading on the 1 minute time frame. So we go back to 720. Somewhere here. Yeah, right here. So you could kind of see the curl again, right? It's my bread and butter setup. It goes up, stalls, and then it gets slammed back down. Same thing, right? Goes up, stalls, comes back down. Same thing again, right? Goes up, stalls, kind of curls up, downwards, and gets slammed back down. Same thing, same setup. Goes up, curls, back down. That's basically the bread and butter. I'm trying to teach you because the curl is truly amazing. Because of the higher lows. Here's why it works. Right? You go up, the momentum is slowing down, and then you start seeing higher lows. No, lower highs. I'm super sorry. You start seeing lower highs, which means buyers are not as aggressive anymore, and then the selling pressure just starts to accelerate down faster. It's basically why the setup works. It doesn't work all the time, but it works plenty of the time. So that's why that was one of the reasons I took this trade, and comparing with ES as well is why it was struggling around this area. And yeah, I'll be recording the morning prep instead of giving it on text, so you guys can see why I have those levels and how I'm coming up with them in real time. And yeah, we'll do today's recap on live as well, so you guys can ask questions about any trades we take and anything else. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good night. Take it easy.